So I've noticed a slight discrepancy, we'll say, in terms of my videos. And it looks like you guys really enjoy Zoids as much as I do. With my timeline video just hitting over 10,000 views and my Fuses video getting close to 1,000, seems like you guys really do enjoy it. So I just wanted to start off this video by saying thank you so much for the support. It's really been amazing, and as of writing this script, I've just hit over 100 subscribers, which is even more amazing. So considering this, it does look like you guys like anime. So it looks like my channel may be kind of merging into an anime channel, which is fair enough, and due to that, apparently I legally have to change my profile pic to an anime profile pic. I don't know why, it just seems like a legality to me, you know? So if you do check down below, I actually have updated, and if I haven't updated by the time this video is out, I'm going to look like an idiot. Anyway, I'm really enjoying replying to all of your guys' comments and actually having really cool discussions about a series that I love, which I actually thought was long forgotten. So if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated, and honestly, leave a comment, because I really do love to hear from you guys and talk about a series I have a genuine passion for, and one that you guys do too, I guess. Also, kind of feels bad that my timeline video is my most viewed, because I didn't even have a mic then and my audio was horrible, and the video has been copyright claimed out of my ass, and I can't unclaim it without taking the video down because there's too much copyrighted content, so that, she'll be right. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about something fun, something factual, like it came out of a book or something. And I know what you're saying, books are boring, if you wanted to read a book, the last thing we do is watch a YouTube video about anime, and I hear you, but hear me out, alright? Today's video is going to be about every Liger within the Zoids series. And quick disclaimer, I might forget some, but I will do my best to cover every single Liger I can recall from the Zoids anime, manga, toy line, and games, everything. Now if you skip my first minute of rambling because I put a timestamp, lucky you missed the extended version. So here's the short version. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy, and leave a comment below because I love to discuss any and all Zoids antics. Now let's get into this video, because it's going to be a fun one. So, the Shield Liger. Specifications. So now we're going to be looking into some of the specifications on our boy, the Shield Liger. First things first, his registration number is RZ-007 and has a crew of 1. Hold up just a minute. Has a crew of 1. We've seen this guy with 2 grown-ass men inside. Call me crazy, but I think we've seen 3 whole persons inside the cockpit of this Zoid. So Wikipedia is a great source, and I get it. I use it throughout all of high school, and I use it to get through higher education. And you know how teachers say, oh, you can't source it because it's not always correct? Well, they're right, but they can literally find me, because if it's in my bibliography, it's a source, whether you like it or not. So I'm going to make this very clear right now. A lot of information in this video is going to be from Wiki, as well as my own big brain, as I've watched Zoids more times than I can count, and I can count pretty high. But if I see Wiki try and pull any more bullshit that tries to tell me the Shield Liger only has a crew of 1, you just know I'm going to... The Shield Liger is approximately 22 meters long and about 9 meters tall, at a top speed of around 250 kilometers per hour, and the base model has quite a few guns and a shield. Pretty cool stuff. So the appearances. First of all, in the anime. The Shield Liger first appears in episode 1 of Chaotic Century and is revived/piloted by Van Flyheight, who is pretty much the only person to pilot this seemingly broken Zoid until the middle/end of the first season, which is when it gets power scared out of the anime and reduced to a side character/mass production Zoid anyway. The next and final appearance of the Shield Liger in the anime at all is in the first episode of Zoids New Century, where Leon and his Shield Liger stumble across our protagonist, Bit Cloud. Manga. The Shield Liger was introduced into the Chaotic Century manga within the first volume, and Van finds it, alive, and guarding a tomb similar to the Gordos from Chaotic Century episode 3, Memory. Van actually manages to tame the Shield Liger, and its name is Caesar. Games. In terms of the games, the Shield Liger appears in the Zoids Versus series as well as the Zoids Saga series. So there are also a lot of different versions of the Shield Liger. These include, but are not limited to, the base blue Shield Liger we see in the anime, the Shield Liger Mark II, which is the white variation, the Shield Liger in dark mode, also known as the DCS-J, the Desert Shield Liger, as well as the Shield Liger Command SP. The Shield Liger was also released as a HMM, and the Mark II was also released as a HMM as well. In addition to that, there were also released as D-Styles and has a Yamato figure, which is actually a larger scaled figure similar to the HMMs. And in addition to all of that, it was also the first Zoid to be released as a masterpiece model, which is pretty cool as well. And lastly, to round off the Shield Liger, a fun fact. Despite us seeing many different colours of the Blade Liger, that being the red Blade Liger from New Century, the silver Blade Liger from Fuses, as well as other Blade Ligers in model kits like a green one for example, we never actually see a different coloured Shield Liger besides obviously the black one, that we never see a Blade Liger for, the white one, which we do see a Mirage for, and the original blue Liger. And in the anime, nothing but the blue Shield Liger is seen. Alright, so the Blade Liger is the evolution of the Shield Liger, and it gets its own section because it's an evolution of the Zoid, not a different form of armor. In the later Zoids forms, they'll be bunched together because it just makes sense that way. So the Blade Liger's registration number is RZ-028, and just like I mentioned with the Shield Liger, I'm 99% sure it can hold more than 2 people in the cockpit, but who knows, maybe it's pulling a reverse Subaru BRZ. That's technically a 4-seater, but we all know you can only fit 2 people in that sucker. Anyhow, the Blade Liger is approximately 26 meters long and 12 meters tall, weighs about 124 tons, and has a top speed of 305 kilometers per hour, which can be raised to 350 kilometers per hour with the additional attack boosters. The first appearance of the Blade Liger in the Zoids anime is in Chaotic Century, episode 25, the new Liger. It's an evolution that occurs from Zeke and Fiona coming together and merging with the Shield Liger since destroyed by Raven's Genosaura. This evolution process takes a couple of days, which revolve around some half-filler episodes that mainly flesh out Prince Rudolph as a character. Side note, when the Blade Liger emerged, it was the first of its kind, and the absolute mad lad Dr. D decided he'll be the one to step up and name the thing Blade Liger. But hey, I guess he was heavily involved in the birth of it, inserting himself into the cocoon and such, so fair enough, name away Dr. D. The next time we see a Blade Liger is in New Century when Leon meets the red Blade Liger on his lonesome journey of self-discovery, and of course, this is depicted in black and white. Nice one, edgy Leon. And the final time we see a Blade Liger in the series is in Fuses, when it gets, well, power crept out by the Fuses. And now it's suddenly not rare at all. Cool, I guess. The Blade Ligers and Fuses are piloted by all members of the Black Impact team and have a colour scheme of a gunmetal armour with a blue-greyish body. In the manga, Van's Blade Liger, named Caesar, also evolved from the Shield Liger. However, in this case, it was from the combined effort of Fiona and an ancient Zoid running the city of Porto, known as Wendine. The Blade Liger in the manga also can use some of its abilities a little bit differently from in the anime. The best example of this being that the E-Shield can be focused in any direction and can be used to support the Blade Liger over water as well as through it. Holy shit, I need to reread the manga, I completely forgot about all of this. In terms of the games, the Blade Liger appears in the Zoids Versus series as well as the Zoids Saga series. Now there's many different variations and limited editions of the Blade Liger seen in releases model kits as well as in the animes and etc. Originally released as the blue shaded motorized model, released as Leon's red shade with metal fangs and claws, the blue model was also re-released with these metal components as well. Next was a Mirage Blade Liger with the attack boosters, and the Blade Liger Mirage KS, which is similar to the Mirage but with pink trimming, and is also a limited edition from Zoids Infinity with only 100 being made. There was also a limited Blade Liger which was never mass produced, which has all silver trimmings. The Forest and Nightfire Blade Liger that had a signature green armor with light green and blue axes to it, as well as a Black Impact Blade Liger 2. The versions released as HMMs are the OG Blue Blade Liger, Leon's Red Blade Liger with attack boosters, Van's Blade Liger with attack boosters, the Mirage Liger with attack boosters, and also a holodeck version released exclusively with the Zoids Chaotic Century box set. So this is definitely going to be the longest section of the video, so let's get started. The Liger Zero's registration number is RZ-041 and can only seat one person, weighs about 85 tons, and is 8.3 meters tall, 24 meters long, and has a top speed of 307 kilometers per hour. Also, a bit of context here as well. The Liger Zero has a lot of different forms and CASs, so those will get talked about a bit more in depth towards the end of this segment. The Liger Zero first appears in the anime in the first episode of Zoids New Century as one of the Blitz team's Zoids that's very rare and unpilotable. Naturally, the Liger takes a bit of a liking to our protagonist, Bit, and Bit can work together with the Liger, piloting it and bringing out its full potential. The next appearance is in Fuses, episode 1, where the Liger Zero is piloted by the protagonist RD. It's never established if the Liger is rare or anything of the sort in this anime either. My best guess is that it's similar to the Blade Liger treatment in Fuses. However, we do only see one Liger Zero in the show rather than multiple like the Blade Liger. The Liger Zero is also briefly and inadvertently referenced in the Genesis anime, episode 10, as it's depicted as Jiru's Zoid in a flashback scene. The Liger Zero enters the Chaotic Century manga after Van's Blade Liger gets destroyed by the Death Stinger, and its Zoid core gets transplanted into a new model of the Liger Zero, which has just been developed. Similar to how Irvine's Command Wolf gets transplanted into the Lightning Sykes within the Zoids Chaotic Century anime. The Liger Zero is featured in multiple Zoids games, such as Zoids Versus, Zoids Saga, Zoids Dash, Zoids Coliseum, Zoids Full Metal Crash, and Liger Zero Mythical Silver Beast. Alright, now we're going to go through all the versions of the Liger. A lot of these versions do have model kits associated with them, and I'll pop up some images on the screen of the kits if they do exist for the versions that I am discussing. So we're going to start off with the Liger Zero Schneider. Specs aren't too different from the base Zero besides it being 135 tons compared to 85. The Schneider features a bright orange armor and a total of 7 blue blades which really do look amazing. The Schneider was the second CAS to be seen in the anime, as it suffered the old connection interrupted due to obviously being too broken for the anime's power scaling at this point in time. However, when push finally came to shove, the Schneider worked and it was really something of brilliance. The Schneider is the first CAS to appear in the New Century manga, and from memory, didn't have the same issue it did in the anime, and in the Chaotic Century manga, it appears alongside the Liger Zero Jager, which are piloted by Rosso and Viola respectively. In terms of the model kits, the Schneider was released by Tommy and Kota Bakia as a HMM. I do own both, and at the time, the Tommy kit really amazed me, but honestly, the sexiness and detail of the HMM is just far superior, and if you like the Schneider and ever get a chance to pick up a HMM, definitely pick it up. Just a side note, I have, well, a lot of Zoid models, and if any of you would want to see me do a video on them, whether it be just flexing my collection or talking about the best places to buy them and etc., just leave a comment down below and let me know, because I feel like that would actually make a pretty cool video to make. The Jager is another CAS of the Liger and is the first to be shown off in the New Century anime. It has similar specs to the previous two, however has a top speed of 330 km per hour. And while the Jager is the speed model, and some people might be thinking,
well, what the hell? It's only like 20 km per hour faster than the base Liger.
what you got to think about is the acceleration, which was never actually mentioned. So there's not really any stats on it from the anime, but clearly the Jager has some insane acceleration keeping up with the likes of the Lightning Sykes. If you want to know more about acceleration versus top speed, think of a Lamborghini Aventador versus Huracan on a drag strip. Although the Aventador has more horsepower and a higher top speed, it's going to lose in a quarter mile to the Huracan almost every time. This is because the acceleration of the smaller and lighter, mind you, Huracan will outdo it on a quarter mile. If you go for a whole mile, however, then the Aventador will probably have time to speed up to its top speed, and the Huracan just won't be able to catch up. Anyway, rant aside, the Jager rocks a dark blue color scheme and features some big ion boosters on top. It also looks amazing as a HMM, but I guess I'm just a sucker for all things Liger Zero. I can also say with certainty, I was more impressed with it than Bit's first impression at the very least. The Jager appears as a CAS in the New Century manga and is also featured in the Chaotic Century alongside the aforementioned Schneider, which are piloted by Rosso and Viola. To be honest, I don't remember who piloted what, because the manga has been taken down and I don't have access to those pages, but feel free to guess away. Now the last CAS unit, the Panzer. Very similar specs again, but this unit weighs 145 tons, which is getting close to double the base Liger's weight, but only 10 tons heavier than the Schneider. I guess 10 tons is quite a lot when you think about it, but man, in the anime, the Liger can barely move with this armor, so you'd think it'd be heavier, right? Well, upon reading about the battle story lore and the New Century manga, it does appear the anime kinda over-exaggerated the weight of the Panzer armor, as it's shown to dodge oncoming fire in the manga and reach speeds of up to 285 km per hour in the battle story. The Panzer is definitely the most underused of all the armor units, but it definitely packs the biggest punch, as seen when it annihilates thousands of fragments from a satellite, falling into the Earth's atmosphere, keeping everyone safe from harm within the New Century anime. The Panzer features a military green color scheme and was released through Tommy as well as Kota Bakia as a HMM. So now we're onto the Liger Zero X. I feel like this one is vastly recognized, as it was released as a Tommy model in Japan, America and the Pacific, so I do have a model of this one that came to Australia. However, never actually appears in the anime or manga, which is kinda odd. It's the Empire's take on a Liger Zero with CAS and features the blue armor with the gold accents and blades, as well as the copy of the Liger Zero but red version. Oddly enough, the red armored version was released as a HMM, which is awesome, but unfortunately the much more badass and popular blue and gold version has never gotten the same treatment. But if it ever does, you sure as hell know I'm going to go pick one up straight away. Just adding this in to correct myself here, the Liger Zero X did actually make some appearances. It featured in Zoids Planet Z Galaxy Quest manga that I'm now probably going to try and read, as well as in the Zoids Battle Story webcomic, which actually does look pretty cool as well. Liger Zero Seeds of the King is a Chaotic Century manga exclusive version of the Liger Zero, which I don't think has been released as a model kit at all. I can't seem to find a lot of information on this particular Zoid online. It's been a couple of years since I've read the manga, and unfortunately in a physical form I only have copies until book 7, which is when the Blade Liger is introduced. And as the manga has been taken down by the Iron Bible, the only place I could ever actually find online, I can't go back and reread it to get my facts straight. But basically, it's just an upgraded Liger Zero piloted by Van. Slight spoiler if my memory is correct, by the point it's introduced in the manga, Raven has actually kinda stopped being a and literally just wants to fight Van to see who's stronger, and if my memory serves me right, Van beats Raven in his Berserk Fury Shadow Edge. Awesome Zoid, by the way, if you want to see me do a video on all the Sora / Fury, T-Rex, whatever they're called, type Zoid, I'd be down. And Raven makes a promise to Van to never meaninglessly kill a Zoid again. And if anyone has access to the manga later chapters, or a better memory of it, please feel free to correct me here, because I've really got no way of fact-checking myself. The Liger Zero Soga, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is an interesting one. It's a version of the Liger Zero from Zoids Generations. Zoids Generations is basically an alternate timeline of Zoids Genesis. It follows the protagonist Midori, who is the pilot of the Soga. This Liger has a blue color scheme and features 2 new CASs, one being the, I'm gonna butcher these freaking names, Kusoku Miyoko, and the other being the Shiro Shizuku. Both versions having katanas and looking very traditional Japanese samurai inspired, which is really awesome in my opinion. If I'm able to read up on Zoids Generations, I'd also love to make a video on it if anyone was interested. Actually, even if nobody's interested, I'll probably just do it anyway. The Liger Zero Miko is another variant of the Liger Zero from Zoids Generations. I can't quite find much info on it besides some photos showing that it's a similar style to the Soga with its CASs, but has a red aesthetic instead. Lastly, for the Zero is the fusions with the Fire Phoenix and Jet Falcon, making the Liger Zero Phoenix and Liger Zero Falcon respectively. Both give the Liger the ability to fly, as well as multiple boosts in power. The Liger Zero Phoenix can reach speeds up to 340 km per hour, which is pretty impressive. It was also released as a model initially in a blue special edition looking color scheme, then released again in its appropriate red and orange color scheme from the anime. The Liger Zero Falcon can reach speeds of up to 560 km per hour or Mach 4, which is pretty insane. It was the most broken Zoid in the anime, as well as, spoiler alert, the legendary Alpha Zoid, and was able to lift a whole Whale King while flying. The Jet Falcon in particular also has beam cannons on top of it, similar to the Berserk Furies ones in a way, making it much more formidable. Personally, I never really liked the fusions of the Liger, but I know some people think they're pretty cool, and they do have some insane feats, so I can't exclude them. Gotta play fair, you know? The Energy Liger's registration number is EZ-072. It weighs 160 tons, is 28 meters long, and 12 meters tall. It has a top speed of 660 kilometers per hour, which is definitely insane compared to most Zoids in the series, and makes it the fastest Liger that I'm aware of. It's able to reach feats like these due to its unique energy charger. This is what powers its weapons and boosts its abilities such as speed. The Energy Liger first appears in episode 13 of the Zoids Fuses anime. It has a great entrance as it's shown to pummel the Berserk Fury and Matrix Dragon at the same time. At first, it's thought to be the legendary Alpha Zoid by RD, but is later found out to be a Zoid that's remote controlled by Dr. Pierce. The Zoid roams around and appears at random points in the anime, similar to the legendary dogs in Pokemon. The Zoid was a part of Alpha Richard's bad guy plot of obtaining the ultimate Zoid, but it's never specified if the Zoid was created by him or the Doctor, or if it was just modified in a way that makes it remote controllable. The Fuses plot is pretty weird but fun, but as I've said thousands of times in the past, it's a shame that it's executed so poorly. I can't seem to find any records of it being in any Zoids manga, but it did play a very large role in the battle story. It was a Zoid based off improving the Liger Zero X, and ended up being one of the most oppressive Zoids used by the Neo-Xenoblast Empire, until the Liger Zero Falcon came along to end its whole career. The Energy Liger was featured in the Zoids Saga, Zoids Versus, and Zoids Infinity games. The Energy Liger has been released twice as model kits, both within days of each other. These include being released in the Zoids 1999 toy line in December 2003 in a red color scheme, as well as a Hasbro release in 2003 in the traditional color scheme we later see in the anime. It was also actually compatible to fuse with many other Zoids, such as the Jet Falcon, and not just a simple plop a Zoid onto each other kind of fusion. The air pumps on the Energy Liger were fully compatible and connected to Zoids like the Jet Falcon, which made the whole thing move as one, which was actually pretty cool. Okay, so now we're on to our last major Liger, that being the Murasame Liger. Murasame Liger? That being the Murasame Liger. It was pointed out in my timeline video that I wasn't able to pronounce this one properly, and although I'm not Japanese, I think I've finally nailed it, Specker. So now we'll be discussing the Murasame Liger and its evolts. The Murasame Liger's registration number is GZ-010, weighs 87 tons, is 22.3 meters long and 9.2 meters tall, and has a top speed of 307 kilometers per hour. The Murasame Liger is exclusive to the Zoids Genesis anime and is found on the seafloor of Mirodo Village. Nobody could awaken this Zoid besides a young boy named Ruji, who is actually the protagonist of the story. Its primary weapon was a large sword made of metal Z that was used in a shrine within the village. This sword flew to the Liger, connected with it, and the Zoid revived itself. Metal Z does end up becoming an important plot point throughout the story, as it's the only metal known to be able to destroy Biozoids, which are made by D-Gold. The Liger was never in any manga, however it was mentioned in the battle story as being a very ancient Zoid made before the age of technology. The Murasame Liger was featured in the games Super Robot Wars K, Zoids Full Metal Crash, and Zoids Saga. The Liger was first released as a mostly pre-built model back in 2005. The whole pre-built thing wasn't very well received, but the models look kinda cool themselves. I personally only ever had the Mugen Liger though. It was also released in many other ways, such as the Special Color Edition, which was metallic, the Tatishi Store, which was more posable, the Holotech version released with the Genesis box set, the Z-Point Edition, a Quick Kit, a Jollibee keychain, a Legend Blocks in the Valkyrie Caesar model, a Gold model limited to 10 units, a 1-of-1 King of Flexible Mobile Edition, an RC version, and a Zoids Aggressive kit. That's a lot of freaking versions. Now onto the evolts, starting with the Hayate Liger. I should mention quickly that evolts aren't like evolutions or fusions or anything like that. They're similar to, let's say, mega evolutions in Pokemon. They happen for a limited time and give the Murasame Liger a different form for different situations. The stats of the Hayate are similar to the Murasame Liger, however the Hayate weighs 100 tons and has a top speed of 420 kilometers per hour. It also has a very high acceleration speed, although the stats of this are never explicitly mentioned. The Zoid now features 2 smaller blades instead of 1 large blade, and these blades are placed on the 2 front legs of the Liger. First time we see the Hayate Liger is in the battle between Ruji and the Bio Tricera, and once the Hayate comes out, the battle ends very quickly. The Hayate was also a pre-assembled model released in 2005 and was also released as a Holotech model as well as a clear special edition model. Lastly, we have the Mugen Liger. This Liger weighs 137 tons and has a top speed of 280 kilometers per hour. Although it's gained a bit of weight and slowed down, the Mugen Liger is the most powerful version of the Liger, featuring 2 larger blades on its back. These allow it to deal with problems that the Hayate Liger couldn't handle due to its lack of brute strength. It also features Metal Z armor, which make it extremely sturdy against the majority of weapons in the anime. It's introduced in episode 34 during Ruji's battle against the Bio Kentro. It's also the Zoid that defeats the anime's final villain Jin in his Bio Tyranno. The Mugen Liger again was released in 2005 and was mostly pre-assembled, but honestly, I have the kit and it doesn't look that bad in my opinion. It was also released as a Holotech model and as a Jollibee keychain too. Lastly for this video, I'm going to briefly name off some forbidden Ligers that are much less well known and don't have much info on them, but still deserve a mention. We've got the Valkyrie Caesar, which is a combination of the Murasame Liger, Brave Jaguar, and Hardbear. The Victory Liger, which only features in Zoids Saga 3. And lastly, the Trinity Liger, which only features in the Zoids Saga and Zoids Versus video games. So that wraps it up. This script took a lot of time and research to write and has been taking a while to edit, so I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you could leave a like on this video and chuck a subscribe to my channel as well, it'd be greatly appreciated. Also, definitely leave a comment below, I'd love to hear from you. After this one, hopefully I can get another video out before 2020, but we'll see how we go. Now I can finally get back to building my bloody Iron Kong that has been sitting in my room for however long. Nonetheless, with that all being said, I hope you all have a great day, and peace out. See you later.